Hi, I'm Candace and welcome to Fitness in Harmony's Life is Endurance. So I want you to get started. Let's just kind of lift the shoulders up and then drop the shoulders down. Lift the shoulders up and drop the shoulders down. I want to give you sort of a virtual hug for showing up on your mat today because so many things pull us in so many directions, and the power of attention, of bringing your mind into this one thing. So the power of yoga is really that, I'm really dropping these shoulders down, is to keep me from being pulled off in too many directions. I really have one course in life, and that is kind of my journey to happiness, to removing all the stress and the strain and the suffering and moving towards the things that bring me health and happiness. Now, let's just pull the shoulders onto the back and then roll the shoulders forward. I always like working on the shoulders again and again because we have this tendency to let the shoulders stay pulled forward too much of the time. So I want you today to resist that urge of letting the shoulders collapse onto the chest. So 2 or 3 more times, we're just trying to roll the shoulder blades around to wake up the blood and circulatory system. We're going to talk about the fascial webbing and the connective tissue that connects not only every part of the body and the mind. Let the arms down now, palms face up, lean a little bit left and then right, but also the connection that connects you and me, all of us together. A couple more leans. So we're going to seek today is the barriers, the knots and the webs, the knot in the web that are holding us back from seeing the truth, not allowing our body and our mind to evolve into a big, cohesive, integrated network. What do I mean by that? We'll keep talking about that. Now pull the shoulders on the back, lift up tall through the spine, lift the heart a little bit forward and suck the belly a little inward. Let the palms rest, either face up or face down, and close your eyes. Let's start with a breath. Inhale. And as you exhale, the form of this matrix begins to evolve. So inhale, exhale. I'm not going to do as much of the pulling apart into pieces as I normally do, although doing the poses correctly is key to opening up this matrix. The body is one big integrated system. Nothing happens in any part of the body that some part of your nervous system isn't aware of. 3 more slow breaths, same thing. We're pulling up. Chest is lifting forward and up, and belly is pulling in and let's call it backward. 1 more breath. Breathe and the form will evolve. And then open your eyes. Let's come into puppy pose. I want to get started stretching out the shoulders and preparing the body for kind of big poses today. Big balancing, we'll call them stretching poses. So puppy pose is arms a little forward, hips up and back, chest down. The purpose of puppy pose is to stretch the shoulders. So right away I'm feeling the connection of my pectorals, my chest to my arms, to my upper back, to my low back, to my hips, and even to the fascia on the bottoms of my feet. Our goal is to integrate this one big interconnected web, this intercellular suit we're wearing. Resist the temptation to just let your shoulders not participate. So stay awakened and aware of the muscles on the back and how they pull the edges of the shoulders back. Puppy pose. 3 long breaths. Energize and invigorate the entire fascial suit. Come up to hands and knees. Brace the abdominals, stretch one leg straight up and back. Now slowly swing this leg side to side. So notice the ripple of energy that's created. So imagine like you're in a pool and you're paddling your leg. The energy from that's going to push the water, and the force is going to push things out of the way. Well, that's also happening in your body. Now take the leg across to the opposite side, press the ball mounds of the toes down into the floor, and then take your head and look towards that foot, the foot that you just put down on the floor. So you're opening up one side of the body. Maybe even a little leaning to open up the IT band. One of the reasons I'm going to stress the IT band is because the IT band is one of the thickest bands of this connective, what they're called fascia or fibroblast cells. Fibroblast cells crawl around the parts of the body, laying down new strands of collagen fibers. 2 more breaths. 2. Come back. Bring that knee down. Let's try the other side. So extend the opposite leg straight back. Brace the abdominals, then swing the leg left and right. So like a fishtail, but without wagging your hips. So constantly, 24 hours a day, these fibroblast cells are crawling around the web of all the connective tissues in the body and laying down new collagen fibers. Now take this leg across, down, press the ball mounds of the foot down into the floor hard. Then take your head and bow the body. So look towards that same side foot, sweeping the hips off to one side. When we do what we call in yoga stretching, which is really not what we're doing in yoga because we don't hold poses, maybe yin yoga, where we hold poses for 3 to 5 minutes, maybe that's stretching, because we're really not stretching muscles, we may be moving muscles. What we're trying to do is coerce those new collagen fibers to go in the line of the force of the muscle's direction. So when it lays down these collagen fibers, they're like in crisscross hatch patterns for strength. They're all about integrity. And so we're trying to convince them to move in the direction for mobility in the muscle. 1 more breath. And then come back. Let's do that puppy pose one more time. Remember, hands a little forward, hips up. We're almost extending spine. Drape the chest down. Resist the temptation for the shoulders to roll onto the chest. Again and again. Keep widening from the middle of the chest out to the underarms. Ujjayi, breath. Today's practice, life is endurance. It's about cleaning up and laying down new pathways, clearing out the old knotted boundaries that keep you from seeing. So the ultimate goal when we get to Shavasana today is that you no longer refuse to see. Refuse to see what? Refuse to see the beauty and the life that resides within. 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Move your way up. Let's step 1 foot forward, but get this. We're going to come up this way. So take your time stepping that foot forward so that your hand can push off that leg. Take your time setting the body down into the floor so that as you push with the hands and you push with this back foot, you come up and then hold this sort of high lunge posture. Bracing the abdominals, let's try that again. Come down to the back knee, lean forward and then step back to hands and knees. Step the other foot forward. Come up, push into that knee. Now really brace, like you're squeezing into the ground. Press into the back toes, lift this other knee up and then hold when we move, when we do a yoga practice and we start, let's call it stretching, but it's really just moving around the joints and activating the muscles. It's like the muscles are springing into action around all of that connective tissue, that fascial web. From here, let's come all the way up. So step, 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 step forward, circle and rise up. Exhale, extend up and back. Hold here. In our yoga practice, in our hatha, vinyasa yoga practice, we hold poses for about 30 seconds. That's nowhere near long enough to change the length of the muscle. Muscles are very thick, strong, fibrous, protein packed. Come up, lean side to side. So exhale to one side, inhale up, exhale to the other side. Inhale, float up, fill up, exhale, stretch up and over. Keep going. I want to point out that we're going side to side. In a moment, we're going to add a twist to this so that the whole fascial, interconnected cellular matrix suit that we're wearing is aware that everything has to work together. It doesn't matter if we stretched out, let's say, our tricep. That wouldn't help us at all. Come up and then turn. Twist your chest to one side. Come back up. Twist your chest to the other side. Come back up. A couple more rotations. Getting used to the planes that the spine can move through. Not letting your shoulders collapse. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then forward fold. Once you come to forward fold, turn so that you're on the long edge, and then make your legs wide. So come to a wide legged forward fold. I'm going to use my blocks because we're going to stay here a while. Pause once you come to forward fold. I'd said we're going to work a little bit more on the IT band, which is a really thick part of this fascial web. Now turn the heels a little further out. So lift the heels, spin them out a little bit so that your legs and knees are a little pigeon-toed, whatever that means. That's a phrase people say. Lift the hips up and press them back. Now I can come down lower, so if you want to. So any version, any variation, whatever suits you, that's what you should be doing. Because remember, I want to honor and congratulate you, give you this virtual hug because you showed up. You showed up. You came to the mat today. And your body needs this every day. Maybe not the longest holds. Spin the heels a little bit back in. Take like a half step in. So toe heel, bend your knees, walk your hands up to your knees, come halfway up. So now your body is in this wide-legged, pretty wide, but halfway up. From here, drop one shoulder and rotate or twist your chest towards one side of the room. Come back, spin through the center and revolve. Dropping one shoulder down. Now go side to side. Talking about twist, we're not only moving the spine and all of the fascial webs, all of those connective tissues around the spine, all the ligamentary holdings, but we're also sort of spinning the hips. It's okay to move your hips. 3 more times like this. Come back to center. Now practice scooping the belly in and up and really hollowing out the core and blowing up the back, and then release that down. Do that again. Practice scooping like you're gathering all the energy up off the floor and pulling it up into your core and then letting it down. Try that a few times. I want you to feel the breath. I want you to feel what we're calling the fibroblasts. Remember, those are just specialized cells in your body that sort of crawl around and lay down new collagen fibers. In other words, they make you. They figure out where they should put stuff, How much more should there be in this area? How much less in this other area? Roll all the way up. We'll turn back to the front of the mat. Come back to Tadasana. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, the arms up overhead. Exhale, extend up and back. Inhale, up. Lean to one side. Inhale, come up. Lean to the other side. Inhale, come up. Now turn your chest to one side. Inhale, come back to center. Turn your chest to the other side. Come up. Bring the hands to the heart. So I want you to remember what we just did. All of those side, twist, twist, twist. Lift one leg. Step it back just 2 or 3 feet and put it down. That's it. Slowly come back. So like you're taking a super slow motion walk. Try the other foot. Lift the other foot. Pause. Step it back 2 to 3 feet. Put it down. Balance. Then super slow motion, step back to center. I'm going to change it this time. First leg, lift it up. Begin to step it back, but this time cross it back and behind the other foot. It's almost at the edge of the mat. Step down. Inhale, the arms up overhead. Exhale, lean back. Inhale, come up. Now lean in the direction of the back foot. That back foot went off to one edge of the mat. That's the direction you're leaning your chest. Inhale up. Now turn. Twist your chest in that same direction towards the back foot. Hold that. I just want to really point out here that every cell in this intracellular matrix of the body is trying to figure out, what am I doing here? So it's not just one bone. It's not just one muscle. It's not even just a group of muscles. The whole body has to come together and get like springy. Come back up. Step slow motion back to center, hands at the heart. Let's try that again. Take the other leg up. As you begin to step it back, cross it over behind the other foot and almost off the edge of the mat, only 2 feet behind you, something like that. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, extend back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lean over. It's always in the direction of whatever your back foot you just put down. Oh, that one just feels so good. Inhale up. This time, turn or twist the chest in that direction. Maybe lean over a little bit too. Again, there's this big loop spiral. Like this energy is flowing from the ground up through these twisted, crossed legs and up through the back. Let's do 2 breaths here. This is really good for all of the fascia on the side of the hip and down the side of the leg. Turn back to front, slowly step back, hands to the heart in Tadasana. Take that first leg, bigger leap this time. Step all the way back, so 4 feet behind you. Land the foot down. Turn the leg out and plant the foot into the floor. From here, practice straightening the front leg and bending. Right, that's all the direction I'm going to give you about this. I want you to just work on, where are my hips? Where is each leg? It's kind of easy to think about muscles because muscles are very, very much under our direct voluntary direction and control, which is why we use them in yoga as kind of a handle to access the rest of the body. But today I want you to take in everything together, because life is everything together. Unifying all that you are, all that you experience, all that you can imagine. That's a big part of who you are, right? Is that we imagine. Our thoughts become very powerful in directing and creating our future. Yes. Next time, hold this knee bent position. Then spin open to warrior 2. So hip turns, chest turns, ribs turn, arms extend. Yes, yes, yes. After 2, Let's give these a couple of little bounce, 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 bounce. Good. Then spin the upper body away. As you begin to spin, lift the back heel, spin the back foot, and twist the chest in almost completely the opposite direction. Straighten the front leg and dive forward. I'm going to bring my hand to my upper thigh here and hold on. And then I'm going to try to put this back heel sort of down. Let's call this reverse triangle for today. Give this about 5 breaths to figure out, what am I doing? I'm spiraling up, I'm spiraling out. I'm trying to interconnect me to me. And in the process, what I'm finding are those barriers. What are the things that are holding me back from going in? 2 more breaths. Inhale, exhale. Keep exploring self-observation. Come back to center, bend the front knee. Slowly step forward. Find your way into Tadasana. Let's try again. Other leg comes up. Big leap back, slow motion leap. Land the back foot and hold. Then spin the back leg open so that the sole of the foot presses down. Explore bending and straightening this front leg. Again, I want you to imagine that you're wearing this big suit made of water. Made of water. The stuff in the suit keeps shifting through the water. But you are made of water, pretty much. How far down you're going, how you're directing the muscles, how you're interacting with the changing, swirling forces in the body. That's where your mind is trying to get into. Hold down, spin open into warrior 2. Remember, the action starts at the hips without letting this front leg buckle. Then it spins the ribs and the shoulders, the arms stretch out wide, level the hips, and we're going to give these legs a couple of bounce, 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 bounce. Then hold, spin the body, the upper body, the other way. Spin the back leg so you're on the ball of the foot. Twist the chest all the way the other direction. Then try straightening this front leg and dipping forward. I'm going to bring the hand to the knee because that's as far forward as I can go today. That little bounce, bounce, bounce we did, the purpose of that was to enliven those fibroblasts. Those are the little cells that figure out, where should I put more collagen fibers? Where do I need more mobility? To keep soaking in your breath, and form will merge. Bend the front knee, unwind. Slowly begin to step forward and come back into Tadasana. Beautiful. Here we go. Circle up, extend back, come up and then forward fold. Step back into plank pose. So we're stepping all the way back. Walk down onto the forearms. Remember, they're staying shoulder width apart, and you're pressing into the forearms. Hips are not up, hips are not down. They're right in the center. Now twist your hips to one side and then roll and twist to the other side. Try that a few times. Twist, twist. So this is not only such an amazing workout for your abs, but this is doing that same spiraling action, which is training the suit of the body how to become more mobile and how you want to shift it. Bring the knees down, pause in this just plank pose. From here, walk up onto your hands. So we're on knees and hands. Bend your elbows. I'm going to call this halfway. It's really a quarter of the way. And do that little bounce, 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 bounce. Now shift to one hand, bounce, bounce, bounce. Shift over to the other hand, bounce, bounce, bounce. So one side, shift the other side. Shift, bounce, 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 and shift. One more time, bounce, bounce, bounce. Now center, bounce, bounce, bounce. Push all the way back to child's pose. And now we're resting the shoulders. Inhale, exhale. Take the breath now and go on a journey of self-discovery, accepting everything. Maybe you couldn't do that little bouncing push-up thing. Maybe you couldn't do that revolved triangle thing. Practice accepting all of it. So no matter where you've been in your journey, here you are. No matter how bad the fire got, no matter how good things have been, here you are now. Keep acknowledging that prana, this breath force, flows and flows and flows. Doesn't matter, again, how high the tallest building or how low, how much or how little, how light or how dark. Here you are now. All of it is here now. One more breath. Inhale. And then make your way down and onto your belly. So let's arm crawl forward and down. Whoa, that feels so good. So I'm going to let the head down, lighten the knees just a little, and then just practice kind of kicking the heels in and the legs out. So all we're doing is flexing and pointing as we bend the knee. Flex at the ankle, point, as you're moving the knees around. Just bending and straightening, that's all that's happening here. Inhale, expand, exhale. I'm going to use the word move. But what I really mean is that your entire body is one big tissue sheath. And all of the cells are connected through this webbing. Now do one leg then the other. So kind of kicker paddle, I guess. One leg then the other. Same thing happening, just pointing and flexing and bending and straightening. But breathe and expand all the little cells. They're all cells. Everything in your body is a living thing. There's no matter that's not part of you. All right, so bring both heels up and then push them together. Hold on, I can't find my heels. There they are. Push them together. And hold. Yoga was developed as a way of clearing out the body so the mind can see the self. Remember, the last thing I'm going to say is that you no longer can refuse to see. Widen the feet a little. Come up onto one elbow. Take the opposite arm and reach back and see if you can catch a foot. If you can't catch a foot, then don't. Some people can catch the back of their pant leg there. That's an option. You could use a strap and loop it. But if you have the foot, push the foot into the hand. See how that pulls my shoulder back? So push the foot away. This isn't about just getting your heel to your glute. In fact, that's not what we're doing. Yoga was developed to get the body out of the way. And the only way the body can get out of the way is if you can tell it. The only way you can tell it is if it's listening. So keep awakening those intracellular little cells that are laying down new connections. 3 breaths here. And then release. Wow. So switch to the other side. One elbow is holding you up a bit. The other arm maybe is reaching back and catching a pant leg. That's enough. Any variation is the right variation. But if you can catch the top of your foot, push the foot back. Good. You're doing good today. Again, I want to congratulate you for hopping on your mat. Showing up is all you have to do. Everything else is the experience. Observing the self, letting the asana, the pose, energize and invigorate you. 2 more breaths. Stay with the breath. Okay, so release the foot. Let's push all the way up into cat pose. I spent some time with my daughter's cats this past trip. I've never had cats or know anything about cats. So let me tell you, if you've ever had a cat, you really know what cat pose is. It makes what I'm doing look like cow pose. I am nowhere near have that kind of mobility in the spine, and we don't really need it. And then move into that cow pose. I'm a little better at cow pose. My low back is dropping pretty well. Keep perking up the back of your thigh bones. After 3. All right, so then make your way onto your back. Let's prepare for kind of our final stretch that goes into the best part of our practice, which is Shavasana. But let's do this stretch first. I want to remind you that what I was focusing on really was kind of the IT band. That just means iliotibial. That just means the strap on the side of the leg. So do that. You're laying on your back, but your legs are like rolled over, like they're going to go running over on the side, like you were on, a bicycle that's turning. Use your opposite hand to help push this top knee down, maybe pulling it in, maybe pushing it away, but down to the floor. Okay, this is the closest thing we're coming to a stretch, because I'm going to ask you to hold this for about a full minute. To take the time to do each move correctly. Now, I don't really follow Iyengar style exactly. I just learned from Iyengar. Iyengar was a yoga guru that would hold poses until the student learned them. So we don't just practice and move on until the student learned them. Very exacting. So exacting, in fact, that Temple University Medical School practices Iyengar yoga to first-year medical students to help learn anatomy. So as you're holding this pose, you can think about the fascia on the side of the leg, on the side of the hip, or in the low back. Or you can see the entire body as one big cellular matrix. Take the time to breathe, take the time to feel life. So what I want to say is open your eyes. I don't mean those things on the front of your head. I mean the seeing part of you. Open your eyes and see the life. The parts of you that flow very nicely, you know, there's like a really refreshing waterfall, but also the parts of you that are holding back like a dam, you know, keeping energy from flowing. But see everything. See the low back, see the shoulders, see the side of the chest, see the back of the neck, see the ears, see the skull. 3 more slow breaths. Remember, we're applying a little bit of pressure on the outer thigh and pressing it down. Then begin to make your way, your legs, your hips. So hips are rolling. But the key to the pose we're doing today is we're taking the top leg a little up and over, like it's gonna cross, I guess. And then using the opposite hand to push it down. The hips might spin and spiral. So evenly feel those fibroblasts. Those are cells that kind of crawl along and say, hey, I'm going to put a collagen fiber here. This needs more integrity. It's creating the integral suit, the suit that creates the shape that is you. Muscles don't create that. Even bones don't create that. It's this webbing that creates that. And then you fill in that webbing with things like fat and bone and blood. So disperse those little webs so that they're stretchier, more fluid. Open your eyes. Remember, I don't mean, you know, those orbs on the front of your face. Open your mind, your eyes, whatever's seeing you. So for me, it means close my eyelids so I can see within, so that you no longer refuse to see. Some of the things that we purposely refuse to see are boundaries and hindrances, things that are holding us back, like a belief system that I'm not enough. I'm not enough. They won't like me. I can't. So I'm going to say, open your eyes until you no longer refuse to see the beauty, the energy, the light, the life that flows. Life flows. 2 more breaths. Begin to unwind. That was a big, big stretch for me in the sacrum. So I need to take a second to kind of push my low back and the back of my pelvis into the floor, and I'm just rocking it back into place. You might find a little bit more relief pulling your knees in or pushing your knees out. Push, pull. Rock around the clock. So take these knees and spiral them around. Rock side to side. Give me a bicycle leg or 2. Pedal, pedal. Stretch out long, arms overhead, legs reach. Splay the fingers and the toes. Remember, no longer refuse to see. And then move into Shavasana. So now I'm going to tell you to lie flat. And you feel good because your body has now learned how to handle the stress, the distractions, and the storms. You've learned how to sail with the winds of change. So when you stand in the fire, you know what sustains you, and you endure. Inhale deeply. Relax the entire body completely. Shift your mind from doing to simply being. Slowly roll onto your side. Open your eyes. And then begin to push your way all the way back up. Take a seat. So enjoy for a moment this moment of seeing within clearly. Pull the shoulders onto the back and then inhale and float the arms up. And then as you exhale, bring life and prana back into the center where you and I are in peace together. Namaste.